Namaskar, this is Akhilesh Bhargav. Welcome to Tit-Bits on Business and Finance with me. Led by the obsolete MiG, India's fighter aircraft fleet was aging and depleting, and it was in 2007 that the government seriously started looking for a new aircraft in order to build up and rejuvenate India's combat planes. With India intending to buy over 100 such planes, it was expected to be the mother of all defense contracts. It would be the huge one. And thus, that made it much more difficult in order to negotiate and procure, particularly knowing the history of corruption in defense contracts in India. India invited the top 6 global manufacturers of such planes to put in their bids. And in 2008, their planes were put to test in the searing heat of Rajasthan in summer and in the extreme cold of Ladakh in winter to see whether they can bear those temperatures. After these tests, the Rafale plane manufactured by Dassault Aviation of France was chosen to be the next generation fighter plane to spearhead the Indian Air Force and to give it the much needed punch. The easy part of the process was bidding, testing and shortlisting, and the difficult part was that of negotiating and finally placing an order. The Defense Ministry, then headed by Mr. A.K. Antony, with its faulty procedures, was known to be one where nothing moves, and it was thus not easy finalizing such a massive contract, even though the fact was that these fighter planes were critically needed for India's national security. As we said, the MiG planes were getting outdated and they were depleting. From 2008 started years of negotiation by the obdurate Defense Ministry officials, and it was only in 2014 that the UPA government could finalize the contours of an order, but it could yet not complete and close the negotiations with Dassault Aviation. The UPA government ultimately decided to place an order for 126 Rafale aircraft, of which 18 were to be imported from France in a flyaway condition, and the balance 108 planes were to be manufactured by Hindustan Aeronautics Limited in India, and the total contract value for these 108 aircraft was about 1.64 lakh crores. But the huge contract with Dassault could not be finalized because of 2 roadblocks. The first, Dassault was not willing to take responsibility for the planes to be manufactured in India by HAL. And the other, Dassault said that the manufacture of the 108 planes by HAL would take 31 million man-hours, and that was the cost it was willing to pay. HAL, on the other hand, said that it would be 2.7 times of the estimate of Dassault. And because of this major difference, the contract between HAL and Dassault could not be finalized, and so could be not finalized the Rafale order. It is to the credit of the late Sri Manohar Parrikar, India's former defense minister, who recognized the national urgency to upgrade India's aging and obsolete fleet of combat aircraft and decided to break this logjam by placing an order for an outright purchase of 36 Rafale aircraft manufactured in France, as against the 126 decided by UPA. It was thus in March 2015 that the Prime Minister announced a government-to-government deal of 59,000 crore rupees to purchase 36 Rafale planes at a price of 216 million euro per plane. It included the purchase of special weaponry, a simulator, spares, training, maintenance, and 5 years of performance-based logistics support apart from the planes. The contract was finally signed in 2016. The order entailed an offset of 30,000 crores, which meant that Dassault needed to invest that sum in India by giving out procurement contracts as a quid pro quo for getting this giant order. Dassault and its 72 contractors, including Safran, the engine manufacturer, and Thales, the radar company, surprisingly decided to award this 30,000 crore offset contract to a JV company with Anil Ambani called Dassault Reliance Aerospace Private Limited, in which Reliance was the 51% partner. This huge order raised a huge hue and cry, and Shri Rahul Gandhi made it a major election issue in 2019 with his derogatory tagline for Narendra Modi, which was Chaukidar Chor Hai, and that failed to cut ice with the voters. The allegations of the opposition were that the price of 1,670 crores per aircraft was too steep, that bribes were paid through middlemen, and that, how is it that the Anil Ambani group with zero defense production experience and track record was given the huge offset contract of 30,000 crores overlooking a government entity like Hindustan Aeronautics Limited, which was much better placed and suited for it. It was very apparent that something was missing in this entire deal, and the opposition demanded a JPC probe in the matter, which the government expectedly flatly refused. The fact that the French government put the ball at the door of the Indian government in this matter only deepened the suspicion. The then French President, Mr. François Hollande, said in September 2018 that they had no say in the matter of granting the offset deal to the Anil Ambani company. He said that the Indian government had proposed this deal with Reliance. He then said that they had no choice in the matter and that they took the interlocutor, which is the Reliance Group, as was proposed to them by the Indian government. This is what the French president said. The French government also said that it was in no manner involved in the choice of the Indian partner, even though the French Defense Ministry officials differed. They said that the choice to appoint Reliance as the offset partner was a commercial decision. It was neither a decision of the Indian government nor of the French government, said the French Defense Ministry. The President of France, of course, said something else totally. He had said that this offer or this suggestion had come from the Indian government and they had no say in the matter. Dassault also then said that it was its decision to appoint Reliance as its JV partner and it rejected any allegations of corruption in the deal. After the government refused any JPC probe in the Rafale deal, a bunch of petitioners consisting of Prashant Bhushan, Yashwant Sinha and Sanjay Singh of the Aam Aadmi Party approached the Supreme Court demanding a probe. Their petition was dismissed by the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court said that it found no reason for any intervention in the matter and that a mere perception of some individuals cannot become the basis of a fishing and roving inquiry in the matter, especially when there was a sensitive defense contract like this. The Supreme Court also refused to get into the issue of pricing. It said that it was certainly not the job of the Supreme Court to carry out a comparison of pricing details in such a contract. Later, in November 2019, a Supreme Court bench headed by the then Chief Justice Ranjan Gogoi dismissed review petitions in the matter, thus closing any possibility of a judicial review of this contract. Interestingly, even PNF, the French National Financial Prosecutor for Financial Crimes, had in 2019 dismissed any possible investigation into the case. The PNF authority then said that her decision is to protect the interests of France and hence no investigation whatsoever will be permitted in the matter. A recent report says that a judicial probe has been ordered for a highly sensitive and judicial investigation into allegations of corruption, favoritism, influence peddling and money laundering in the Rafale deal. And that has been done in France. The new PNF head has decided to do that. With this, the Rafale deal is back on the center stage of Indian politics and it will rock the parliament in the forthcoming monsoon session. The unanswered riddles, the unanswered questions that will be raised are many. The first one, at 1,670 crores per piece as against 526 crores per plane contended by the opposition, did India overplay for the Rafale plane? That's the first question. The second, was the Anil Ambani group proposed by the Indian government as the offset partner, as the then French president had initially said? After all, how else was the company formed a mere 12 days before the announcement of the deal by the Prime Minister? And why did Anil Ambani visit Paris and meet the French Defense Ministry in the run-up to the deal? So, it looks like that the suggestion had gone. The third, if the Indian government did not suggest Reliance as its JV partner, then why did Dassault choose an inexperienced partner like Reliance and why not an experienced partner like Hindustan Aeronautics? The fourth, who in the government gave Anil Ambani the information and the lead to pursue the contract and why was he so confident of bagging the 30,000 crore offset contract without any experience whatsoever in defense production? The fifth, what was it that compelled Dassault to choose an inexperienced Anil Ambani over the experienced Hindustan Aeronautics as its offset partner? Why would Dasu choose such an inexperienced JV partner remains a lingering question. The sixth, in a government-to-government deal, where was the need for a middleman to deal with the government, since the primary role of Reliance under its agreement with Dasu was to provide understanding of the Indian place and marketing of programs and devices to the government of India and other authorities. Where was the need for that when it was a government-to-government deal? And finally, why did Reliance Entertainment fund a film starring the French actress Julie Gaillet, who was the partner of the then French President François Hollande? Why did Reliance Entertainment need to fund such a film? Was it not some kind of a quid pro quo? The current allegations are that €1 million bribes were paid to a middleman. We think that in such a big contract of €7.87 billion, €1 million is nothing. But all these questions that we spoke about do need an answer. And perhaps that's what will rock the parliament in the forthcoming monsoon session. This is Akhilesh Bhargav signing off till we meet again. Namaskar.